2 councillors have been expelled from Poole Conservative Group. The situation has been causing conflict between the two sides involved, and an argument has developed into whether they were crossing bounds or were they just supporting their local residents. Councillor C.Deas and Councillor Gillard have faced difficulties within the group for a considerable period of time. On many occasions, the group has tried to resolve the situation, but all these attempts have failed.
They failed to support the Conservative Group on many occasions. They voted with the opposition on many occasions, and Councillor C.Deas in particular has made many public and inaccurate statements.
Councillor C.Deas and Gillard were both previously suspended in November 2008.
Started roughly 5 years ago, and how it started was when I was compromised at a planning committee. I was on a planning committee, and it has to be a quasi-judicial decisions that we take. And I was compromised to the extent that I had to go to seek advice from the monitoring officer, and that was the start of my problems.
At the time of suspension, they were informed that they must abide by the group rules.
We started with a censure, which could have been more serious, but cut down to a vote of censure last February. Behaviour didn't improve. The group were so incensed, perhaps, by the issues that in November last year they imposed a suspended sentence, if you like, on the members, at which time they were advised that they needed to act as Conservatives. We hoped, we tried to keep the issues quiet in order to allow the wounds to heal and to make reconciliation possible. Unfortunately, they chose to publicise and act, if you like, as victims.
Councillor C.Deas and Councillor Gillard both argue that they have always followed the Councillors' Code of Conduct and have always supported the views of the residents.
My plans were to represent the residents because I was in a residents' association group, and I felt that the residents' views weren't coming forward as I thought they should be, and so my manifesto was to represent the residents and to represent the area that I lived in, because I was consistently seeing this beautiful area destroyed. I wouldn't actually say that we were outspoken. I'd say that we were representing what we were elected to do. The residents elected us to represent them to the best of our ability, and that's what we have always done.
I want to be able to sleep nights. I want to be able to represent the people that elected me. And if I'm in conflict with that, I've got to obey that special code.
Within this time, however, rules were breached, and Council Leader A.Stribley says they voted with the Liberal Democrats.
They'd previously been suspended, and their suspension ended after the council meeting on the 19th of February. But at that meeting they voted with the Liberal Democrat budget, which is the most critical vote of the year, and every party has to expect its members to support the budget.
Planning has also played a part in this controversy. Recent investigation into planning in the Borough of Poole has been conducted by Sir Michael Pitt. Leader A.Stribley says there's a difference between supporting a resident and supporting residents as a whole. She says you can't take sides, but you need to take into consideration businesses and families.
We're all elected to represent our residents. They were elected by the Conservative voters in their particular wards. So their first responsibility is to support, if you like, their party policies on the council, and that is critical. Individuals who have difficulties with particular issues, of course, can deal with that. When it comes to residents, you can support your residents and act for them, but if you are sitting on a quasi-judicial committee, you have to abide by the rules and regulations that committee is bound by.
The Borough of Poole has recently been given a 4-star rating for the second year running. The council is one of 4 local authorities in the South West to achieve the highest rating in the Audit Commission's annual comprehensive performance assessment.
The council should be accountable. If they've done something wrong or made an error, they should put their hands up and say so. and be judged with the public that have actually elected them. In our opinion, this is only a box-ticking exercise, and is really, have you the ability, have you something in place to deal with this situation if it arrives? So much of that is down to officers, hard work. Now, the Audit Commission looked at us and quite emphatically pointed out that scrutiny wasn't working in the council and it should be addressed. They also pointed out about governance, and by that they meant with portfolio holders, policy makers, sitting on the planning committee, which they shouldn't. We were severely criticised for that and told to address it. To date, nothing has happened. This was picked up again recently by the Sir Michael Pitt report, which recommended exactly the same things. 7 things he recommended, and still nothing has been done about it.
When you are elected on a party ticket, you sign up, and they have signed the, in effect, the Conservative councillors pledge that they act as group members and team players, and that they advise their colleagues if they have a difficulty with a particular issue. If they wish to abstain, that's fine, but we all discuss the issues beforehand with each other and clarify situations.
I asked everyone involved how they are feeling about the situation and what steps they plan on taking next.
It's going to be a lot of hard work. We've got to issue a sort of manifesto of what we intend to do. Hopefully somebody will support us with a little bit of effort. We've got to write that manifesto. We already have some idea of what it's going to say. Basically, it will be independence for the residents, representing the residents of Poole. And I hope my colleague does that sometimes. To say little, just be brief, not fly in and answer accusations against you. I think that doesn't do you any good. Sit back, and people in the end have got judged for themselves. We are still angry. Throughout all this process, we have been in touch with Central Office and sought advice from them, so they are fully aware of the situation. Obviously, people are going to say what is the most damaging against us. If they're speaking against us, they're going to try and put us down as much as possible.
The reaction was not really one of surprise, because I feel that I've been heading this way for the past 5 years, but I feel very let down. I feel very let down by the Conservative Party nationally, because I wrote to them in the year of 2005 to seek help because I was struggling to represent the residents to the best of my ability. They sent down someone to help us. He has been helping us for the last 3 or 4 years. They are fully aware of the whole situation. So I feel let down by the Conservative Party, because I feel they could have tackled this much earlier on before this situation erupted into what it is. I certainly feel let down by the Conservative Group because I feel amazed at how they could have sat back and have watched what has happened. They know that I've always represented the people. At the heart of every decision that I make, it's what is in the best interests of Poole, and also what is in the best interests of the residents I represent. They are continually supportive of the leadership, and they don't open their eyes to see what's going on around them. And what we're hoping to do is to bring out into the open things that haven't come out into the open. A lot of this has stemmed this year from a planning decision. I've had an enormous amount of support from the residents. I've got letters here that I've received. One of them has written to the leader of the council. He's actually written that for the first time in 50 years, if I stand as an independent, he will vote for me. And he's made the leader of the council aware of that. And so when I have support like that, I have support from my ward. They've had a vote of confidence, and the decision was unanimous. I will continue to do what I was elected to do, only now I can probably speak with much more confidence and without being hindered by a whip.
They're entitled to do that as independent members, but not as members of the Conservative Group. I think the group is very saddened that it's come to this, and we have to move on. The choice has been all down the line to Councillor Gillard and D.Gillard that they have chosen this route.
This is Katie Brain reporting.